Hello, good morning. Happy Thursday. I am just going to make sure that we've gone live here in the group. I'm so excited to chat for a few minutes today about the right kind of publicity for your business. And I really got that inspiration for this topic from a couple of different calls I've had with potential clients this week, clients who were very accomplished in their own right and had already had some publicity opportunities, but hadn't seen the results they were looking for from those publicity opportunities. So I want to talk a little bit about what you can expect from different types of publicity, a guest blog versus a TV appearance versus a speaking engagement or a podcast interview, and the things you can do to make sure that you've put yourself in a position to really leverage that opportunity and to see that opportunity actually grow your business, because that's the reason you want publicity, right? I mean, the mistake I see people making is they want to stack up all these logos on their website and they want that as seen in, as seen on banner, as featured in. And that's fantastic. I have one. I totally get it. But if it's not actually serving your business, you're wasting your time and money doing it. So I want to make sure this isn't just publicity for publicity's sake, that you're going out there and you're approaching this in a very strategic way. So if you're here on the broadcast, go ahead and say hi. I want to know who's here with us live. And I am just going to make sure here on my phone that we are broadcasting in the group and that we are in good shape before I launch into all my tips and tricks for this. And of course, now my phone isn't going to want to do this. Okay, so let's take a look. Nobody's saying hi, and yet I see that a couple of people are here. So if you're here, please say hi so that I know our comments are working. I love this new BeLive.tv because I can put captions on the screen. Hi, Michelle. And if you guys ask questions, I can broadcast your little face and your little question up on the screen, which is so fun. So now that I am seeing your comments, I feel good that we're live and this is working. Hi, Megan. For those of you who don't know Megan is a publicist on my staff and she is incredible. She gets a ton of publicity of her own for work she does with Disney. And she also gets fantastic publicity for our clients. Hi, Dina. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the type of publicity that's right for your business, okay? Which is going to be different for each of you because publicity is not a one size fits all type of opportunity, okay? And that's a big reason why, if you've heard me talking about my small group program, that I limit that small group program to 10 people. Because I am not teaching a one size fits all strategy. I am teaching some tips and some skills that are applicable to everyone, but the strategy is totally different. What makes sense for one person won't necessarily make sense for another person. And so it's important to understand what you can expect out of certain types of opportunities. And sorry, my dog is like getting into something over here. Gigi, lay down. She's like, what, me? She's giving you that look like I wasn't doing anything. So let's talk about what you can expect from certain types of publicity and the things you need to be clear on and have in place if you want to be able to capitalize on that publicity, okay? I've had this conversation a couple of times this week with potential clients and actually with current clients too, about expectations and about having the right things in place. As I've been going through applications for the small group program, there have been people I've told no. I've told them they're not ready yet because they don't have the right pieces in place. Okay, so let's start with that. What do you need to have in place for publicity to work for you to begin with? I think you need to be clear on some level about what you do and who you serve. Now, we've had people in the current round of the small group program who came in who tweaked that idea. In the first week, we talk about your elevator pitch, which a lot of people, most people already have. But we also talk about what I call your expert statement. And we talk about how to craft that. And it's this combination of your elevator pitch with your specific experience and skills and expertise. And your expert statement will allow you to position yourself in a way that doesn't sound like anyone else out there. Okay. A lot of times our elevator pitches, even mine, sounds a lot like someone else's, and that's fine. But your expert statement, no one else should be able to write an expert statement that looks like yours, because you are positioning yourself as an expert on your own experience. And that is what makes you stand out. So I teach that in the program. It's not something you necessarily have to have in place for publicity work, but I do think you have to have a good idea of what you do and who you serve. Okay. We can refine that, and it might change over time. Mine did, but you need to have a decent idea of that. I think you also need to I want to do this in order. You need to know what your services are. Okay. I did have one person who filled out the application for the small group program, and they hadn't really started they were at the very beginning stages of starting their business. And I think it's fine to go after publicity in the very beginning. There's a ton of stuff you can get on a kind of a lower level to help you build a portfolio, so that later on, when you're ready for those bigger opportunities, you've got clips to show for things that you've already done. So there's nothing wrong. And I encourage you to start publicity as soon as possible. However, I think you need to know how you're going to monetize, this traffic and this interest you're going to get from people. Okay. If you have no idea what your services are, it's tough to capitalize on those eyeballs that you're gaining from publicity. So I do think you need to have at least one service that you offer. And then my third sort of requirement is you really need to have an opt-in. Now, I had a couple of people in the first round of my small group program who didn't have that yet, and I helped them craft it. And I've gone through that too with people who have done my VIP sessions who don't have one yet, and we use part of their VIP session to figure out what their opt-in should be to help them capitalize on this publicity that they're going to go out and get. But I think it's important that you have an opt-in, because that's how you convert people from listeners or readers or viewers into clients. Okay. So I just had this discussion with a client this morning who was giving a little pushback on creating this opt-in, and felt like maybe it was going to be too much of an expense to create the landing page and the thank you page and the email sequence, and to have that kind of funnel in place behind the opt-in. And yes, it costs time and money, but how are you going to convert people from readers, viewers, listeners into clients if you're not getting them into your funnel? Okay, you've got to have an opt-in. In the beginning, my opt-in was really basic. I don't love it. I would never offer it again, but have something out there. And I think I just had one email. So I didn't have a full sequence. I just had one email they got after they opted in. And then they just kind of went on my general list and they got the broadcast that I sent to everyone. Now I have full funnels in place with full email sequences. But I would say, to capitalize on publicity, you've got to have the opt-in, and let's get one email to them, okay, that's specific to that opt-in. And then if all you've got from there is adding them onto your list and sending out your weekly or bi-weekly or however often you're doing it broadcast, that's fine. That's a fine place to start. It's where I started, okay? So those are the pieces I feel like you've got to have in place, okay? Know what you do and who you serve. It doesn't have to be written in stone. These things do change. So that's one. Two would be having at least one service to provide. And then three would be having an opt-in and at least one email follow-up after that opt-in, okay? That's what's going to position you for success with publicity and allow you to capitalize on the eyeballs you're going to get from publicity, okay? So if you've got questions about that, go ahead and pop those here in the comments, and I will answer any questions you have about that portion of it. I'm going to move on to what are the right types of publicity for you. So let's just talk a little bit, generally speaking, about what you can expect from different types of publicity. So I did have a call with a potential client this week who's done a ton of TV, okay? He's gotten some awesome airtime. We're talking national television, okay? He's also gotten some space in national magazines, big national media outlets where he's been quoted. Okay, but he's not seeing business come in from that. And I told him I wasn't surprised, because TV is not a great lead generator. Okay, now he's got products he's created, and he talked about seeing this like sales bump with products when he goes on TV. And I agree with that 100%. Okay, my product-based entrepreneurs will see a blip on the radar when you go on TV where sales go up. And it totally depends on where you're at. If we're talking local TV versus Shark Tank, obviously there's a big difference. But for product-based entrepreneurs, you're going to see that spike when you go on TV. Service-based entrepreneurs are not going to see that. Okay. I've worked with a lot of service-based entrepreneurs who have been on TV. I've been on TV. I know people who work with other publicists who have been on TV. You do not see a ton of traffic as a service-based entrepreneur from TV. What TV is good for those type of entrepreneurs is to move along people who are already in your funnel. So it's being able to post it on social media and share it with your newsletter and put it on your website, and to gain more credibility with those people who are already in your funnel. Okay. Absolutely a fantastic credibility builder. I recommend doing TV if you can. I think it serves an important purpose, but do not expect it to blow up your website with traffic. That is not what's going to happen with television. Okay. Guest blogs, okay? A one-off blog post on Forbes, again, probably isn't going to do a lot for you in terms of generating leads. Again, huge credibility builder like TV is going to move along people that are already in your funnel. It is not going to drive a ton of traffic to your website. You might see some, but where you're going to get value from something like Forbes or Fast Company, both of which I'm a contributor for, and there's a reason, is that over time as a contributor, as I'm consistent and I'm on those platforms over and over and over again, I have been on Forbes for almost 4 years now, 2 years before I went to ESPN to work, like 2009 to 2011. And now I'm about to come up on another 2 years this summer. Okay, so 4 years total. That has brought me a lot of opportunities, book deals, paid speaking gigs, paid consulting. Okay, I have gotten all of that because of my exposure on Forbes, but it's writing on Forbes consistently over time. I bet if I pull it, I've had probably over 200 pieces on Forbes over those 4 years. For sure over 100. I should go count them, but I bet it's over 200 pieces. Fast Company I've been writing for a shorter period of time, so I've had like 6 or 7 pieces, and I'm just starting to see the results of that. Okay, it's taken 6 or 7 pieces over several months, and I'm starting to get LinkedIn requests from people who reference that they found me on Fast Company, Facebook messages from people who reference that, people booking discovery calls. And here's a key tip for you. Okay, here's something that I love that proves to you what publicity is doing for your business. On your discovery call form, or whatever people fill out to get on the phone with you, or to book time with you some other way, make one of the fields on that form ask people how they learned about you and your services. And you will start to see patterns about where people found you. So for me, it's mostly 2 Facebook groups, and then it's LinkedIn and Fast Company. Okay, I see those same ones over and over and over again. And then if I'm in a period of time where I'm doing a lot of podcast interviews, I'll see those come up. So we'll talk about podcast interviews in a minute. But it takes being a contributor and being there consistently over time, I think, to see leads from writing for a publication like that. However, a one-off for those still is a huge credibility builder and a great opportunity to leverage the appearance on social media, on your newsletter, on your website, and move along the people who are already in your funnel. Help build that know, like, and trust factor, okay? That's what it's great for. When they see you associated with publications they recognize, that is going to elevate their opinion of you and your services. So totally valuable thing to do like TV, but don't expect it to be this huge traffic driver for you. And if you have questions as I'm talking through this, by all means, drop those in and I will get to them for you. So now let's talk about podcast interviews. Podcast interviews are, and if you've watched me for very long, I know you've heard me say it, but podcast interviews, and I'll lump in with this being interviewed on someone's summit, okay, because I see really similar results. Best ways to generate leads for your business: podcast interviews and being interviewed in online summits, okay? You will see people join your email list if you followed my advice in the beginning and you've got that opt-in in place, okay? If there's no opt-in, you're not going to see the lead generation. You're not going to see your list grow. So you got to have the opt-in. But if you do podcast interviews and you do online summits, you will see your list grow noticeably, okay? I actually set up new lists for each summit I do. And then for podcasts, it sort of depends. I don't do it for every podcast, but I do it for bigger ones. And I set up a new list for them, and I can tell exactly how many people are getting added into my list from that specific podcast or summit. And depending on what it is, it could be dozens, it could be over 100. It totally depends on how big it is and what that person's following is. But hands down, if I want to grow my list, the best way for me to go out and do that is podcast interview summits. Now, webinars can be a great way to do that too. That's sort of outside of what we do as publicists. I'm not helping my clients put together their webinars. That's a little more online marketing than publicity. So certainly that's a great way to grow your list. Facebook ads are a great way to grow your list. But when we're talking about publicity that grows your business, podcast interviews and online summits. I was telling this gentleman who had all this TV exposure and had been on national TV, when we were talking about ways he could grow his business and get more people into his services, I said, have you ever been interviewed on a podcast? And he said, well, I've hosted my own podcast, but haven't been interviewed on other people's. And I said, there are so many out there that are perfect for you. That's where you need to be. You've got to be getting interviewed on those podcasts, because he will see his list grow and he will see people coming in and wanting to know more about his services. And like I said, a great way to do that is put a field right on your form where people tell you where they found you. And then you'll know where it makes sense for you to spend your time. I say this isn't a one size fits all strategy. And that's why it's important to figure out what is working for you. And that's one of the great ways to find out what is working for you is to put right on your form, how did you find out about me? You will see patterns emerge, and then you will know where to spend your time. The last type of publicity I wanted to talk about, and if you guys want me to talk about something else, you let me know in the comments, but the last one I was going to talk about was speaking. So, and this from my point of view would be in-person speaking on a stage, whether it's to 20 people, 200 people, 2,000 people, I don't care. Speaking, there are great ways to grow your business. I actually came up with a list the other day for a client. Okay. So you can get a speaking fee. You can get a workshop fee, which sometimes can be even more if you pitch a workshop at a conference versus a keynote. Keynote might sound better, but I would rather do a workshop. Better money and better conversion into clients. So you can get paid to do a workshop. And then other ways are selling your book at the conference or the event, getting the conference or event organizer to agree to purchase a certain number of your books to include in VIP packages or giveaways or to give every attendee. I've seen it work a bunch of different ways. Another way is when you can just straight sell from the stage, which at a lot of events you can't. But if they're not going to pay you to speak, sometimes they will let you sell from the stage. The most effective way to do that, which almost everyone will allow, is to offer a free gift to the audience. Okay, so how do you do that in person? The best way to do that is to have a text opt-in. So I know that Lead Pages allows that, ClickFunnels allows it. There are some other ways to get services where people can text in to get added to your list. And so you'd be up there and you'd say something, you'd tell people that if they want to get your ebook or if they want to be entered to win a 1-hour coaching session with you, text excellence to 71567, whatever it is. And you will see people encourage them while they're sitting there to whip out their phones. Tell them, say, I'm going to give you this opportunity to get my ebook for free, or I'm going to give you this opportunity to win a 1-hour coaching session with me. I want everybody to take out their phones right now. And then you pause and you wait while everybody takes out their phones and you say, I want you to text the word excellence. Or maybe you ask them a question. You say, I want you to text me your elevator pitch to 71567, whatever it is. That is a great way to get your audience engaged and to get them on your list and into your funnel so that you can convert them. If you're expecting to go to a speaking engagement and that people will just seek you out afterwards and seek you out online to become clients, yeah, a few people might do that. But if you want to see massive results from a speaking engagement, try out the text option. It's been great for me and for some of my clients that have tried it. Thank you, Michelle. I can't claim it as my own idea. I worked with a speaking coach last year and he's the one who taught me how to do it. So I won't claim that as my own idea. And certainly there are other people out there doing it, but it's such a duh kind of thing once somebody tells you, but I had never thought of it. So definitely something you can work into speaking. And it doesn't matter how big the audience is, 20 people, 2,000 people. It's a great way to do it. Michelle says she's still learning her way around ClickFunnels. Me too. And quite honestly, I finally hired somebody. My sales funnel strategist is phenomenal. Heather Remek, she is so amazing. She's here in the group if you ever want to find her. She is awesome. So she handles all my ClickFunnels stuff for the most part now. So that's another great way to be able to convert an audience when you're speaking. I'm trying to think if I've left any out. Oh, one last way that I do it when I'm speaking, and this is more of a money-making way. It's getting you a client too, but I love to oh, Michelle said she saw my sales funnel yesterday and it's beautiful. Thank you. That's all, Heather. So the other way is to offer VIP sessions in the city or town you're going to be in for the conference or event. So I try to do that, and I try to do it enough in advance that if I needed to add a day onto my trip, I could. So for example, I am headed to Vegas in May, kind of a last minute thing I got booked for. And it's really for my sports work, for a sports journalism thing. I'm going in for something the UFC is doing, but they've offered to put me up in this hotel and, they're flying me out there. And so my travel costs are covered. And so I have asked if there's anyone in Vegas, and there are a few people who follow me who I know live in Vegas that I'll reach out to directly. If they want to do a VIP session in person while I'm there, they don't have to cover travel costs. I mean, normally to get me in person for VIP, you've got to cover my travel. But now you don't have to cover my travel. You've just got to pay the VIP fee and you get me in person. So I offer those too when I'm speaking at an event. For example, I'll be at an event for like a week in Orlando in June, and I will start pretty soon publicizing that you can do a half day or a full day of VIP with me while I'm there. And totally, it's not affiliated with the conference at all. I will just find space in town where I can do that, or in the hotel where I can do it, and not affiliated with the conference. But I have found that conference attendees, when they find out that I'm offering that kind of stuff, they take me up on it. Sometimes I've done 1 hour or 2 hour sessions versus half day and full day VIPs. Totally depends on who the audience is and how much time I think they need with me. Amy said, when June? I am going to be in Orlando June 10th to the 15th. It's like a Saturday to a Thursday. I think there's some small possibility I'll leave Wednesday night. I haven't totally made up my mind. But right now I have my hotel from Saturday to Thursday. I do workshops at that conference. And I've got a keynote. So some of my time is taken up with that, but I will have some time. So if you want to come over, I won't have a car. So if you want to come, and I try not to leave the hotel because there's so much going on, but if you want to come over, Amy, and grab coffee with me, or you want to book me for a session, just shoot me a private message. Michelle said, when in Vegas? Vegas right now, I'm May 18th to the 21st. And I'm sorry, Michelle, I'm not sure where you live. Are you in Vegas? I try to keep track of like where everybody's at so that when I'm going somewhere, I can tell you guys where I'm going. And I'll probably start putting posts up here soon. My UFC trip actually just got finalized yesterday, so it's super last minute. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be there, and I'm going to have some time. I can come in pretty early on the 18th, and then on the 19th, UFC doesn't need me till 3:30 in the afternoon. So if I haven't booked my flights yet, but if I book it like I think I'm going to, I could do a half day session with someone the first half of the day on the 19th, and then I may even have time Sunday the 21st. Michelle said she's in Chicago, but her grandparents are in Vegas and she's there often. We'll be there in July. I've actually never been to Vegas, so it's a total side note, but I am super excited to be going to Vegas for the first time. And I'm trying to tell my husband, like, I can't go to Vegas, like just do this UFC stuff. Like I need to go to a show. I need to see the strip. Like our hotel's a little off the strip. We're staying, I think, at the JW Marriott, which I think is a couple of miles away because this UFC event is being held out there. So I need to be there long enough to like experience Vegas, right? I'm super excited to be going to Vegas for the first time. So you guys have Vegas tips, you can send those my way too. But that's a great way to be able to, sorry, I can see like my eye makeup is like running here. That is a great way to be able to monetize a trip, especially when you get asked to do a speaking engagement and they don't have money to pay you. A way that you can, and I've done this before, a way you can still make money is by booking sessions with people that aren't affiliated with the conference. 1 hour sessions, 2 hour sessions, half day VIPs, full days, whatever. I started out just doing 1 hour sessions, and then I've done in a few places 2 hour sessions. And then now I push more half day VIP, full day VIP kind of stuff. But that's a great way to make money as a speaker without having to get paid by the people at the conference or event. Although certainly I always encourage to try to find a way to make that work. And sometimes you can do both. Sometimes you can get paid to come speak at the conference, and you can be there long enough to do these outside sessions. So that it kind of rounds up my list of ways that speaking can work for you as a type of publicity. So like I said in the beginning, there is no one size fits all publicity strategy. That is why I like working with retainer clients where I'm digging into their business. It's why I like doing VIP days where it's just me and you and we're doing your specific strategy. And it's why I keep my small group program at 10 people, because I like to really get to know your business and give you very personalized strategy. You can ask the people who are in my group right now. They're landing things in totally different places because all of their businesses are so different. And if you've been thinking about the group program and you haven't pulled the trigger, there are two spots left. Okay. It starts Monday. Don't wait. If you guys have seen me post about one of the case studies in my group, Stephanie, if she just started my program, now it's been 8 weeks ago. Okay. 8 weeks. In 8 weeks, she has landed 2 contributor roles, a feature in a print magazine where they sent someone to her house to do a photo shoot. She's been quoted in like 3 other places. She's done like 5 podcast interviews. That's it. She's done all that in 8 weeks while she was still learning. I mean, think how much she's going to be able to get now that she's done and can implement everything we learned. But that stuff she was pitching for and landing during the course while she was still learning. So don't wait. 8 weeks can make a huge difference for your business. So if you want one of those final 2 spots, reach out to me. Let me get you the application and let's see if you're a great fit for one of those final 2 spots. Let me read Michelle's message. I got to scroll down here just a little bit. She says, I would love to start speaking. Scares me to think about it. But for some reason, I've always been called to do it. Speaking is scary for everyone in the beginning. I love it now, and it's a huge adrenaline rush, and it lights me up, and it gives me so much energy. But, it wasn't always like that. I was nervous in the beginning, too, and scared to, and the first people I talked to were like younger than me. I went and talked in a classroom. Like I should have felt totally in control, but I didn't. I felt like a total fraud and I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to say. But that has gotten better over the years. And now speaking is a huge part of my revenue and I love it. I love getting up on a stage and speaking. It totally lights me up. So I know that once you do it a few times, you will get there too. And it can be such an awesome way to position yourself as an expert, to get out there so more people know who you are, to get people into your programs, to sell books once you write a book, all these kind of things. Speaking can serve so many different areas of your business. So I strongly, strongly encourage it. Okay, if anybody's got any other questions, get those in before I have to go here. And if you watch this on the replay and you want to ask questions, just feel free to leave those and I will come back later today and look for your questions and answer anything that you have. I've had so much fun with you all this morning. Thank you for joining me. I've got like a million errands to run today because I am the matron of honor in a wedding and we are going to Savannah for a bachelorette weekend tomorrow. And I've still got to finish getting like decorations and alcohol and all the important stuff. So I am going to go run my errands. But if you come up with any more questions, leave them here and I will come back and check for them later. I hope you all have a fantastic Thursday. Thanks, guys.